Oh, Dad.
Yeah.
Okay. So kind of tell me a little bit about the cave and when you bought it and
Well,
the
we've been
size.
here about 43 years. This is 2018, and so it was 78, 79, and uh, we uh, we didn't move here right away, but I've had several businesses here,
Hmm.
and I was in the silver business, and then I was in the furniture business, and now I've just got a lot of junk saved up. But
How many acres do you have
we
here?
have 31 acres here, and whatever's underneath the ground in the cave, I think 2 to 3 acres underground.
Okay.
We have a well outside where we had the house at one time, and we have a well in the cave.
How deep
The
is?
well in the cave, they went up on top of the cave and drilled because they couldn't get the rig inside. They drilled up on top
Hmm.
and cased it up on top and then cased down through the bottom.
Mm.
So we have a well inside the cave, and then we have.
Oh, Rube.
Go on now. Go down.
Gunther.
And then we have a lake in the back of it.
Mm.
We have
How deep is the well from the top of the cave? 300 feet or?
I'm not exactly sure, but it's about that, yeah.
Okay.
And there's a lake at the back of it. Behind the last pillar. It has pillars that goes up to the top, as you'll see in the video.
Okay. Let's
And-
walk. Let's go ahead and walk through the cave. Have you ever drove a semi truck in here or just a box truck?
It would, yeah. The most places, in fact, all through it, I think a semi would fit. It's going to take a lot of dozing and stuff to clean it up, and it'll have to be chipped on top.
Okay.
And then if somebody's going to use it for a building, someone would have to take the ground that is on top of it with all the trees and smooth it out, and put a measure of something to smooth it down, and then blacktop the top of it so that water cannot come through. It has water in the floor a little bit, but that would either have to be pumped out or whatever. But the water that's in it, other than it, it would be it comes out of the ceiling. During a rain. 2 weeks after a rain, it starts raining inside there. But a person could take care of what water is in it with a pump system or with a drainage system that you have
I'm
to
probably shaking a little bit because I'm cold.
It's all right.
Go ahead and walk through the cave. Let's go and walk through the cave and show. Now, describe to the people what it was. It wasn't it's a man-made cave,
Yeah,
right?
this was a limestone quarry.
Okay.
Where they dug out, and this little looked like pea gravel size line that they put. It closed. It operated during the maybe the early 30s and the late 30s and all the way up to about 1950.
Mm.
And around they closed once or twice, the way I understand, and they had one man die in here from a slab falling, but they had financial problems because of the Humboldt, Kansas opened up a mine up there where it killed their market for this pea gravel that they put on. This gravel that they took out, that lime gravel that they took out, it's to sweeten the ground here in Kansas, and that was a good market for them. So when these other places opened up, why, it killed their market. And these trucks that they were driving were like Diamond T and old Dodges, and all 4 cylinders, and they go up these hills. The hills is a little different than it is now. They were real steep, and they just could. If they missed a shift, they couldn't get it back in gear, and it would roll down the hill, and they had a lot of trouble with their trucks.
I've counted 11 pillars in here. Have you? Is that right?
It's quite big, and it's got a lot of pillars, and
What did you want to do with it?
Well, I planned on building a house, but, you know, we've never had the finances to do. Back years ago, probably 20 years ago, I had an estimate done of clearing a couple acres up on top and then putting a couple acres of blacktop, you know, up on top, and it cost about $11,000 back then.
Probably
Now it may
40 now.
It'd be like, you know, 50 or 60 maybe now. So it would take a lot of finances just to get it where you could be able to, where nothing that would be inside would do damage from the dampness.
Yeah.
And so, and then you'd start to build it, you know, and put walls to the ceiling or floor, 2 layers. It's big enough that you could put, you know.
It'd be cool to put steel doors on in front of it and
Yeah.
build a house on top where this was
It's
like
big
your
enough to drive
bunker.
a freight train in if you had one, you know.
I'm freezing.
So, but it has 2 openings besides the, up on the hill.
Kind of like
They opened up
air
for
shafts.
ventilation
Yeah, air.
and to let the smoke and stuff out, where they had manufacturing, you know, with all the equipment that they had in here. And, but it has a great bunch of possibilities. This is secluded.
Sure.
It's none of it can be seen. Not only that, but this land, almost all the land, actually all the land, the 31 acres, lays below blast level. And it is, but the cave itself is above flood level. It's never flooded in the surrounding area this high up. So if they was to send us a nuclear bomb, unless they made a hole out of the whole area, the blast would go across the top of the hills and not take it out. So this is perfect for fallout shelter.
Now the guys that came down here when I was a kid, they were planning on putting a mushroom plant in here.
Yeah, it would be good for that. They lost their finances, but they wanted to put a mushroom plant. There was another guy that wanted to put a earthworm farm in here because there's a great market for earthworms, and I've had some other people talk about a restaurant or a nightclub or a funeral deal, mausoleum thing. But, you know, there's just no end to the possibilities of what could be done here with somebody that had financial ability.
I had a outfit out of Springfield call about it that we're thinking about trying to get it in the dry to make a place to store money in. You know, like a
and
vault.
one time the county seat was talking about buying this to put a jail in here.
Prison, yeah.
Because if you close it up good, why there wouldn't be no way for them to get out. But they went ahead and built that jail up in Columbus because they wanted the revenue from it up there. So.
Well, it's
And another outfit was talking about storing, making a Foot Locker out of it and storing meat and salad stuff. You know, they're just great possibilities.
the lighting is kind of so to get very good pictures of it. I'm gonna go ahead and
Also, if a person really wanted to, they could probably raise exotic fish back there in the back. But we've never put any fish in here other than just a few, and I didn't show up until later.
well, we've got a few different people who are interested. One guy's from New York, and he's one of the first people that, and I don't know whether it's an individual that's wanting to build a home here or a business. He may be wanting to build a house on top of the hill. That's the air shaft. Now, see, that'd be ideal to actually build a house up here and then have stairs down.
Yeah.
And then have doors on the front of this.
Greenhouse. I thought that right there would make a real great place for a smokehouse and a salt pit, where you could smoke your own meat and salt, cure it, and all that kind of stuff. But there's a lot of things could be done that way.
Well, really, right now you're just wanting to retire and.
Yeah, I'm tired. I'm 71 years old, and I really don't need to be dying and leaving all my mess, for somebody else to worry about. I would rather retire away from it. My wife and I both have health issues. We're sick, and we need to do something with it. But it's got great value to somebody.
Yeah. There's a guy from Houston, Texas that's interested in it too. So who knows?
We've never really advertised this like we should have. We've just talked to people now and then, and people who come by are blown away by the look of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we show it to people who come. I've got a little flea market thing, and people who come to look at it never dreamed most of them that there was such a place here.
Yeah.
And it's centrally located in the United States, and we're not very far. How far are we from Branson? So we're 82 miles from Springfield. We're 6 miles from Joplin, Missouri. We're about 120 miles from Tulsa. So if you put a big X in the United States, we're kind of centrally located in the USA.
Now from this pillar, okay, so if I go to the front here and then I swing around, there's the pillar that's right in the middle.
Yes.
And then you go straight back, there's 2 pillars that you see right there.
Yeah, it has plenty of support.
That pillar right there, if you went straight back from there, there's a lake back there in the very back. There's another pillar behind it, and then there's a lake back there. How deep is that lake?
Well, it's at least 20 foot straight down. There's a drop off. The way I understand it, they thought maybe by the rock formations there was going to be some lead, because we live in a predominantly lead area, and but they didn't find any. They thought there might be something that looked like there might be some lead, but there wasn't any, and that's what I heard.
Now, when Scott and that guy came down here, they drained it out. They pumped the cave completely out once.
No, I did that. We did that.
With the air,
we actually drank the water here. One time our well didn't do well because I had laid some lines that weren't very good, and our well went dry. So we went ahead and pumped the water, and we used it, and we drained it completely out, except for a little bit that was left in that hole. So
now the floors are solid limestone.
Oh yeah, we had a backhoe come in, try to dig, and just a few inches down from the floor, you can't dig it.
So that would have to be blasted.
It'd have to be drilled and blasted, yeah.
And the creek bed's quite a bit lower, so it would naturally drain on its own.
It wouldn't take. Let's see, I don't know how far here. Let's see, probably like less than a half a city block. You could go to a dry creek bed that we have out here that runs during high water, and in
the spring, it still wouldn't get high enough to bring water back up in here.
It never
has.
Back up to it.
Yeah.
So, of course, a person could make a sump system that would, you wouldn't need to drill and blast. You could make a pump system that put in a sump, and it filled the pipes up, and then you turn switches on, and it would siphon its own self dry if that's what you wanted to do.
Well, I think that'll conclude the video. At least that kind of gives a tutorial of the size of it.
Somebody can call us and talk to us, come by and look at it.
All right, and where are we located?
We're in Galena, Kansas. We're about 2 miles south of